on Whirlwind.
Yeah, I heard that MC guy's not bad.
He's okay.
I heard he won some stuff, ain't that right?
He's won a little bit of money.
Nah, but Ben, you know how it is. If you know how to win, Ben, eventually you're gonna know how to win again. And if a player like Naniwa is practicing a lot again, feels good, he's gonna win a lot. It's just one of those things. It's inevitable, and it will come. And a good performance in the end is still definitely possible, as he's currently holding on to a 2-2 record. Even though there was an unfortunate chain of events as well in one of those games. Of course, more information will follow regarding that issue later on. But Ben, you and me, we are just simple casters. We cannot talk about that too much. Ain't that right, Ben?
You're exactly right, Kev. As we have Nani spotting here in the bottom left-hand corner of Whirlwind, his opponent Galaxy in the bottom right. Forge, expand, or die trying. That's the mantra that Nani has lived by for oh so long, and it looks like he is putting the pieces together to continue that trend here in the opening moments on Whirlwind. A little bit fortunate for Naniwa. He's going to get the initial scout off right away. Drops that pylon, sends out the early probe, and immediately spots his Zerg opponent. So he should have no troubles either delaying that hatchery or at least getting a really good feel for exactly what Galaxy's going to do.
Couldn't agree more, Ben. If we saw one thing of the Naniwa versus Nurcho series, we saw how important it is as well to at least have a little bit of luck on your side, where Naniwa the first two games went for a rather safe build. Ooh, excuse me, and it didn't really work out. The third game he decided to cut a corner. He did not scout, went for Nexus, want to go for Nexus first, and in that game, Ben, Naniwa got 8 pulled, and that's one of those things you just can't do anything about. Super unfortunate. So getting a quick scout off is always nice. Even if you see the standard, it's all about getting your mind in a peaceful state, or basically giving your brain a rest and be like, all right, nothing to worry about, everything is standard.
And this early scout has been so good for Naniwa. It's allowed him to see that later spawning pool and to go Nexus first once again. Not only that, but he's dropped that pylon, which is going to delay Galaxy quite a bit. So Nani has a pretty nice start here, dropping his Forge after Nexus. He wants to wall off. He's got to be a little bit careful that Lings don't just walk across the map and annoy him. But with Galaxy making only 4 Lings, with Galaxy having to contend with this pylon in his natural, I do not think we're... Ooh, 6 Lings now. That's a little bit interesting. I wonder if Galaxy is... Oh, obviously he's going to kill this pylon, but I wonder what he's going to do after that.
I don't think... Wow. Okay, no, I don't think we're going to see anything weird, Ben, as he's already taking his hatchery over here. There's no sense in taking a hatchery over here if you want to do something on 2 bases. So I think it's going to be standard. This wall is quite annoying. This is a very big wall. It's not very easy for Protoss to wall off. I guess Naniwa is going to get the cybernetics core behind here, and then eventually he could take out this neutral supply depot. Naniwa has a probe over here on the other side of the map. This could be a crucial probe if we see more links in production, but that's not the case. We see right now that the Zerg player is going back to droning. So everything is standard, and this was of course a nice start for Naniwa. What is also nice, Ben, is if he wants to follow this up with Stargate play, it's a little bit stronger than normal, and if you guys wonder why, that is because this is now basically the natural. So this also means that it's going to be a lot harder for the natural to get creep spread out to the original turret and get queens out there to support that base a little bit better, in case there would be Stargate play.
That is exactly right. 6 Lings on the map for Galaxy workout. Actually, is it 8 Lings now? Why has he made so many Zerglings? That is...
Maybe he was afraid of like a gateway block after the pylon block. Because Naniwa let the pylon finish, something I was a little bit surprised by. By the way, if all these links just decide to run by, they will definitely go by. Unless Naniwa goes for a full wall up, which is exactly what he does.
Yeah, seeing the exact number with that probe. Naniwa has been very, very aggressively scouting, Kevin. He's now sacrificed... is that his 3rd probe? No, just the 2nd one.
But that's the mark of a great player. I've always said it. I remember when I was watching the Home Story Cup back then with JYP, who was playing then MC. And on that moment I felt really clueless in PvZ, because I just felt there are moments where you can't scout. And these good Protoss players, they just proved me wrong. I was worried about this sentry, by the way, that it might pop out on the wrong side, but that's not the case. I was just amazed by the fact of how often they sacrifice probes, and it is hard for Protoss to scout, as long as hallucination is not free, as we might see in Heart of the Swarm. So I think those are the marks of a great player. Yes, you hurt yourself a little bit, but in the long run you're also going to prevent yourself from losing a few games due to scouting all in.
Now, one thing that Galaxy has achieved by making these extra Lings is making Naniwa a little bit nervous. We saw him add that 2nd cannon. That's not something he needs right now, and you know, anytime you see maybe unnatural or not common numbers of Zerglings, you might feel the need to do something like that.
Yep, Overlord is heading into the main base of Naniwa, but there is nothing to scout here at all, Ben. So Naniwa could potentially send a sentry, but perhaps he's afraid that it's Yeah, it's a magnet. I'm not going to use the other word, but the Zerg player wants to pull the sentries out of position and then go for the Bailing Boss. So Naniwa is super safe now, Ben. 3 sentries before additional tech. That's crazy.
He's very, very clearly worried about something coming from Galaxy. As we do see one more pylon going down. Looks like Naniwa wants to add some tech here in his main. There is going to be gateways going down.
Naniwa has absolutely nothing on the map, by the way, so no probes. It's not going to be possible for him to just warp in some stuff. He is researching +1. Of course, Galaxy is aware of that. But because Naniwa was so safe and perhaps misread the situation a little bit, but yeah, he didn't see much. All he saw was the links, and if he gets Bailing busted and he's not prepared, it's very easy to judge him. So he kind of had no choice. He went with a read, sort of misread, but it's not the end of the world. What of course did allow Galaxy to do right now is build a lot of drones. And we can see in the worker tab that Galaxy is on a healthy amount of drones right now, and 5 more are in production. Double Evo chamber on the way, so Galaxy definitely recovered from having his hatcheries delayed in the start.
Galaxy is, you're exactly right, he has established a really nice drone count. He also got a fantastic Overlord scout because Naniwa was being so careful, because Naniwa wasn't pulling those sentries out from the front. That Overlord was able to float around for a long time and spotted the Twilight Council. Now, I'm not positive that Galaxy clicked on that, but it was within sight range of that Overlord. He should know that either the potential for some blink play or some sort of higher Templar tech is in the cards, is a possibility for Naniwa.
What we often saw in the past from Nani was very heavy Stalker play, +2 Blink Stalkers, then even eventually add some Robo as well, or add some Immortals in the mix, but he really likes to rely on those big groups of Blink Stalkers. That was kind of the play we saw from him in his series against Dongregu, that famous series in the round of 8 of the GSL Codas. And Naniwa in general very good with that, with this large amount of Stalkers, but it's also something, if Zerg sees it coming in time, they can really build a strong army against it.
Naniwa's first observer crossing the middle of the map does spot a lot of Galaxy's Zerglings, and what is that going to do to Naniwa's thinking? He still hasn't even bothered really to leave his base.
I think he's just waiting for 1 or 2 Immortals and then going out with Blink Stalkers. And well, he is showing signs of wanting to go up to 3 bases, and he's actually going to drop the Nexus there right now. Surprised me a little bit. Didn't really have the feeling that Naniwa was trying to go for that, as he's been, well, passive normally one does suggest that he wants to go up to 3 bases, but everything is shaping up for a big, strong 2-base play. As he has quite a few gates, he's adding in the Immortals, +2 is almost done. So I was starting to feel like it was going to be a timing, but now Naniwa was giving us the idea he wanted to go up to 3 bases.
Galaxy's going to go up to about 73 drones while he adds in his Spire. Now, if Nani's going to make a 2-base push, I don't think Galaxy's going to have time for that Spire tech to come into play. But if Naniwa does sit back and does try to slowly secure that 3rd, these mutas could be very annoying.
I don't know, Ben. There are 88 links on the map, so just imagine the amount of time you can delay a Protoss push with 88 links. And I think this might eventually turn into a very long game, unless Naniwa is still going to go for 2-base play, but I think it would be delayed. I even think that mutas would be out in time. We do see a Warp Prism now, by the way, Ben. Naniwa is going to try to warp in that Nexus once more. I still sort of have the feeling that it might be fake, but I'm getting kind of confused for this series. I'm getting kind of confused out of this game.
Well, he's been delayed for so long. Maybe the first time he wanted to expand. Maybe the second time.
Oh, big link run by. Good force field by Naniwa, though. So only 4 links make their way. Wow, such a key move by Naniwa to keep a sentry over here.
That's a really fantastic job by both Naniwa and by Galaxy. Galaxy was attacking the army with one group of lings as he set up the run by with another group of lings. Does get up into the main base, kills maybe a probe or 2. But not much more than that.
So many links on the map, and 2-2 upgrades are well on their way. The first Mutalisk are in production as well. We have decent upgrades. Naniwa has some time right now to drop the force field. Naniwa is not, eventually he is dropping the force field while he was busy dealing with these links as well. Wow, that was a very last minute force field.
Absolute last second force field. Well done there by Naniwa, who stays safe.
I mean, Naniwa has spotted the Spire Band with his observer, but I wonder if he actually knows that this is a Muta. Let's take a look at Naniwa's point of view. Is Naniwa ever... Yeah, I think he caught a glimpse of those Mutalisks right there. So immediately starts whopping in cannons. He knows what he's facing right now, but it's going to be annoying, because all that Naniwa can do right now for quite a while is just defend.
More Zergling attacks over here into the natural expansion of Naniwa. This will again be shut down by good unit positioning, not even needing to cast a force field. second wave of that attack up at the third base. That's going to be dealt with also in a third wave, even as Muta's flying over into the main. Naniwa is in every spot.
It's really not easy. It's so key. If that observer, for instance, wouldn't have been here, I don't think Naniwa would have had those cannons, wouldn't have had these stalkers in position. You're already fighting an uphill battle, and once that happens against Muda Ling, it's so extremely annoying for a Protoss player to be in. I'm terrible in defending against Mudas because it all comes down to scouting. Oh, he's going to try to pick up these sentries. Very smart by Naniwa to still block the force field, so he can buy himself a little bit of extra time.
Naniwa is playing excellent StarCraft right now, Kevin. It is very, very difficult to set up one, two, three-pronged attacks. It is much, much harder to set up three-pronged defenses because you're being reactionary and you're having to respond to what your opponent is doing. Naniwa is playing beautiful StarCraft right now.
Yep, no hive tech on the way yet, so this is not just a few Mutalisk men who are trying to save time, some time for the Zerg player who's trying to get out Broodlords. This is actually a pretty serious commitment to Mutas, perhaps eventually wanting to base trade and stuff. And this is a position ban that I, as a Protoss player, hate so much, because even when I feel I'm defending reasonably okay, I know my opponent is heavily outmining me and I have zero map control. But there are Protoss players, for instance, like Hazorbs, who have seen make ridiculous comebacks while being in the exact same position as Naniwa is in right now. So I guess we will see.
Some Dark Templar tech out on the map, but Galaxy also playing very, very well. Does have detection in each of his bases. And this first DT might get a couple of drone kills, but that is all he's going to get. That's excellent foresight from Galaxy. I don't know if he scouted the Dark Shrine or if he was just being super safe. Good timing for players that are learning Zerg or that already play Zerg is when you take a fourth base. That's around the time you want to make sure you have detection in all those bases if you don't already have it in place.
Quite some Mutas flying into the main base of Naniwa, but Nani still had a pylon there to buy himself a little bit of time. Now all of these burrowed Zerglings did die as well as Naniwa got detection. He's getting more and more cannons. You can never really overdo it with cannons when you're playing as Muda Ling.
Yeah, and that's also going to set him up for ultimately when he decides to move out, because you can count on big counterattacks coming.
I'm curious to see if he's going to bring in Banelings in the mix as well. There are a lot of, I mean, not Banelings, Overlords. There are a lot of Banelings over here, and he did research Overlord speed, and I believe he's able to drop as well. But I think he's just going to try to roll in the Banelings for now, which is going to be risky against Force Field.
Ooh, Naniwa's got to be so careful. Banelings do. Oh, great.
Oh
Force fields by
Naniwa.
Naniwa. Incredible force fields. Every single Baneling is trapped.
That's
just
so sick.
Brilliant. Some of the best play I've seen from Naniwa in a long time. Incredible.
Same moment, he has quite some charge pulls hammering away on this fifth base over here of Galaxy. Will take out this hatchery. So not only did he drop good force fields, he was thinking about his War Prism as well. And yes, Galaxy is still outmining Naniwa, but the straight up army from Naniwa is quite a bit better. Certainly right now, he has a couple of Archons.
Oh, Nani still being active with Dark Templar. He's going to try to target down this Spore Crawler.
And he will be able to do so.
Oh, that is very, very frustrating. There's no additional detection anywhere on the map, and that is going to mean lots of losses in this expansion. Just perfect play from Naniwa. Now he's going to push across the bottom half of the map towards these this Spine Crawler wall, Kevin. This is not a position that I think he can break right now.
Nope. But he will take out this hatchery as well. So Naniwa took out two hatcheries. On the meantime, or on the same time, we got Galaxy countering on the other side of the map. But this is why I said, Ben, you can never overdo it with cannons. Look how smart. He's warping in a sentry as well. So he could drop a force field on top of these cannons if he really had to buy himself a little bit of more time against that Link counter. This is really sick play so far by Naniwa.
This is just brilliance from Naniwa. He's going to drop the Guardian Shield and push forward. Once again, Zerglings and Mutas will engage this along with the Spine Crawlers. Galaxy's doing a good job of holding the line right here. Nani not doing much damage to these static defenses and does lose a couple of Immortals, having to disengage at least for the time being.
I mean, it might have looked rather easy so far with Naniwa's dot, just defend, but it's so extremely hard against this Muda Link style. When your opponent is outmining you by so much, they can throw away much more units, and it's so easy to at least get caught out of position once, which definitely would have happened to me like 50 times, but so far it's really good by Naniwa, but Infestus joining in the fray right now.
Big gamble here from Naniwa as he does make some big aggressive blinks on top of these Infestors. Does break through the Spine Crawler wall, at least in part. But I don't think he's got enough to continue pushing forward.
Nice blink below these Mutalisk, and he picked off a few in the process. He's going to have to get another pylon, because this is the only reinforcement pylon that he has right now. Really big warp in. Naniwa still has a few Stalkers in the main as well to eventually deal with a big counter. That's crazy. This is not even his entire army.
Yeah, more fungals going down on the Stalkers of Naniwa as he tries to continue to push forward. More Banelings are morphing, and they're going to come and connect with a few of these Stalkers, but good control again from Nani, only losing about 3 Stalkers there.
Great Aspire is now on the way though, Ben, and he's dealing with these mutas still has a few Stalkers in the main as well, as I mentioned before. He's going to warp in Dark Templars right now, but ooh, actually there's no detection over here.
That's right. The only detection is in the form of those infestors and their ability to cast fungal growth, so that could be annoying, but Naniwa does go ahead and make Archons out of those Dark Templars.
There are very few, well actually there are 65 links on the map right now. Before this, Observer is over here as well. He's going to take care of these burrowed Zerglings. But what Naniwa does need, well, these Mutalisks are getting sacrificed right now in the main. Naniwa did have cannons, did still have these Stalkers, but he does need to start mining of this 4th base though, because he's been mining of these 3 bases for 21 minutes. Is this Archon trapped, by the way, or is it here on purpose?
I don't know, man. I think he's just like the linebacker Archon.
The quarterback.
Any Zerglings that get through are going to get punted. As Naniwa setting up a very strong position, just literally a stone's throw away from the natural expansion of Galaxy.
Has to be a little bit careful here with these Stalkers, but the Lings are actually heading into the other side. Lings are just getting relics straight into the forces of Naniwa.
Suicide mission, Galaxy. That'll never work. Naniwa once more will push forward. There's a lot of infestors, a lot of infestor energy. Not sure that Naniwa has the damage output to break through here, but he is going to try to make it happen. More Zerglings going to come in from behind. This Galaxy really wants to hold. He's trying to buy time for the Broodlords. First Broods are morphing. There's a second wall of Spine Crawlers waiting. Galaxy brilliantly buying himself time. More great fungals go down, killing a few Stalkers and delaying the push. One thing Galaxy will succeed
Naniwa, can he see these Broodlords? Yes, he can see these Broodlords. He's going to pick them off as well if he doesn't cancel them.
Oh, that is huge. One of them gets killed. One of them gets canceled.
Still big pickup.
Galaxy will lose this expansion, so another great pickup here for Naniwa.
Good game, Ben, here on Whirlwind. One of the best games that at least we've casted on Whirlwind of this season so far.
And Naniwa is going to keep moving north, Kevin, where he's going to just pick off more and more expansions from Galaxy. There's only 3 or 4 Spine Crawlers here. That's not going to be enough against the entire Protoss army.
Galaxy, meanwhile, is going to try to counter over here on the 4th base there. He has quite a few links, and of course, Infested Terrans have so much DPS. Naniwa, maybe a couple of Dark Templars would have been great right now, just imagine, but that's not going to be the case. So he will lose his
he's going to evacuate. He's going to lose a lot of probes. He's going to lose this Nexus, so that's a painful loss there for Naniwa. But that being said, Kevin, I feel like Naniwa has inflicted enough damage that it doesn't matter. He's picked off all of Galaxy's expansions. Galaxy has 0 mining bases. There is no income for Galaxy right now. 300 minerals per minute, and that is all off of just like 1 mineral patch in his natural.
Naniwa has around 600 to 700 minerals left on each patch on his original 3rd base, so that's quite okay, even though a 4th base would be much better. Naniwa still has a bank as well, and that's something that Galaxy doesn't have. I'm really impressed by the way that he played against Mutaling. Because certainly on a map like this, the map this big, it's kind of course it's very different, but it has some similarity to how Tal'Darim Altar,
sure.
Tal'Darim Altar used to get played out. And Mutalisks were so extremely good on that map for a long time as well.
Now, Naniwa is in such a fantastic position, Kevin. He has the advantage in army supply. He has a mining base. That is a massive advantage because Galaxy doesn't even enjoy that luxury. Down to just 180 mineral income per minute. Galaxy is broke, absolutely broke, forced to long-distance mine from what was once Naniwa's 4th expansion.
There are still 12 infestors though, man, and 12 infestors with good fungos can of course really cripple a Stalker Archon-based army, so Naniwa has to be at least a little bit careful.
The other thing we have to keep in mind, 6 Broodlords are out, and when you couple that with those 12 infestors...
Of course, that's what I was thinking about.
When you couple that with those infestors, you get some incredibly devastating Zerg army effects.
There's a Dark Templar over here as well. I don't think that Galaxy is going to be able to do anything here. He's going to just end up losing most of these links. Good thing is he did pick up the probe, so he does delay that expand a little bit longer. Naniwa has to be careful, Ben. He has the stronger army, and 6 Broodlords is scary, but with this amount of Stalkers, if he just blinks right below them, he's going to immediately pick off 2 or 3, and then only 3 Broodlords remaining. The damage output is just not going to be that great.
Oh, man. That's a really big Protoss army. Galaxy knows it. He definitely does not want to fight away from his Spine Crawlers. He's trying to play the very patient turtle style of Zerg that has become so common these days. Basically sitting next to his spines with his infestors and his broodlords.
Naniwa is up for the army supply ban. The longer he waits, the more broodlords that will be out. Of course, well, this is very nice positioning, by the way. It makes it sort of hard for these stalkers to blink below them. But still, with an overwhelming amount of stalkers, I always feel you can just go for it. Even though the infestor count is scary, what we will most likely see, Ben, is a lot of really low HP units for Naniwa.
Galaxy's going to go pick a fight. I'm not sure that I understand this logic, as he is so far down in supply. Maybe he feels like he just has to do something here. And there's the big blink from Naniwa, just like we talked about. Immediately, a couple of Broodlords going to fall. And, oh, some good force fields as well. Infestors are able to burrow, though, so they get out of there.
Naniwa doesn't have a single observer with his army, Ben. Not a single observer is on the map.
That's, of course, something he's going to want to resolve. He is producing an observer now. Galaxy still has some Lings out on the map, but he can't really do anything with them because of that Dark Templar tech. It's just a single DT will kill Infinity Zerglings, Kev.
There's so many Archons over here as well. Archons, of course, great in soaking up those fungals. You need an insane amount of fungals. Ooh, look at all these World Links. Back off, probe terrain. Zealous to the rescue.
Some of those Archons have quite a few kills, one of them with 18 kills. So Naniwa has been very active with that army.
Don't mess with the linebacker, man.
How many kills does he have?
17.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's been a valuable asset to this Protoss army. Just guys, I fought my battles. You guys go ahead. I'll stay here.
So you guys go ahead. I'll defend the base.
Yeah. Like guys, like really, man. Like I'm the big guy. You know how many people I killed back in my day? Just go. Just let me know how it goes. Okay.
Warp Prism coming in to do a little bit of harassment here in the back of Galaxy's lone mining expansion. It's going to be a DT warp in. Where's the detection? There's not any. There are some infestors, though, so that should...
split up the Dark Templars. Having them all three next to each other is, of course, a minor mistake over here from Naniwa, and he won't be able to take out this hatchery. Would have been great to bait a couple of additional fungals.
A couple more DTs warped in immediately. Does Galaxy still... Yeah, of course, he still has plenty of energy. At the same time, Naniwa trying to find an opening with his army, but it's just not there.
It's a nice fungal by Galaxy once more, but Naniwa's army is so big, man, and he's still outmining Galaxy. Even though it's not by a large amount right now, he's still outmining him a little bit. And that little fight where that they took before, where he picked off 3 Broodlords, 3 out of 6 Broodlords, is a really big deal.
Now Galaxy basically turtled up to this one base. Naniwa does not want to risk going in there and taking heavy losses. What Naniwa could do...
Take out the natural on the main?
Exactly. Take out all of that tech. If he takes out the main, Kevin, Galaxy loses his ability to create detection. He's only got a single Overseer.
And then I also don't think that Galaxy will ever be able to attack Naniwa, because the moment he attacks, Naniwa will just be able to counter, because it's such a big map, and Naniwa's bases are so extremely spread out. That I think that's the right choice as well. That's why I was rather surprised when he went for the Dark Templar warp in over here, that he tried to break this position and instead of just going here. The big problem is if he would have gone into the natural, there was no way out, Ben. Then he would also be able to force, he would be forced to take a fight, which perhaps he didn't want to take.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for Galaxy here as we see that he just doesn't have much in the way of options, Kevin. He's very immobile. He's very poor. Naniwa is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and he's doing all the right things. He's just expanding to different corners around the map.
I love seeing this, Ben. A Protoss containing a Zerg. This is beauty. This is like rare art. And you know why it's art? Because we don't see it that often, Ben. That's why.
That's not what you. That's not how you define art.
Yes, that's how I define art.
That's something you don't see very often.
Yes. Why do you think the Mona Lisa was special, Ben? Because there was only one made. Ain't that right?
Can't argue with that logic.
No. Thank you. Look at this. This is kind of funny.
Galaxy is going to send out a couple of burrowed infestors. Oh. That poor drone's in for a rude awakening.
Yeah. He's like, okay, I'm just going to try to take that secret base.
Now, I can understand what Naniwa is thinking here. He's like, all right, well, you just sit on your one base, whatever, bro. But I would really, really like to see him go and deny the main and the natural. He needs to take out this tech, man. That would just that would be the one thing that Galaxy can't afford to replace. He cannot rebuild all of his tech. He can't make a new spawning pool, a new layer, a new spire, a new hive.
This was really some textbook Protoss play about how to defend against middling, which I still think is one of the hardest playstyles to play against. I know it's kind of been faded away and the Broodlord Turtley style is considered stronger. I personally, Ben, the whole reason why I opened Stargate in most of my games is because I'm afraid to play against this style. I know that I'm bad against it. And Naniwa just showed us how to really, really properly defend and play against this.
Galaxy is still trying to run around and make something happen with some Zerglings and some infested Terrans, but I don't think there's really any hope of much more than...
the Observer at Naniwa.
Then some perhaps cosmetic damage being dealt here in the natural expansion. The paint getting scratched on that gateway, perhaps.
At the end of the day, he just lost 2 infestors. Naniwa did manage to pick those off as well with that one only Archon. Look at this Archon. What a hero in the middle of the map, and 22 kills.
It's the
Still holding
man.
the Xel'Naga Watchtower.
That's Tassadar. He's like, all right,
He's like a sniper rifle guy.
back to the tower.
But then he doesn't have long range. You know, in Wise, there's like you know, in Finland, there's this one guy considered a national hero because like during the war between Finland and Russia, he was a sniper and like he killed an insane amount of people.
There's some pretty funny stories about the war between Finland and Russia. I guess I shouldn't say funny
Yeah.
war stories, but the joke that I saw was give a bunch of Finnish people skis and hunting rifles and they'll kill 500,000 Russians and a bunch of tanks. Because that was the statistic. It was like Finnish casualties 19,000, Russian casualties 500,000.
It's hard, man. It's hard to beat people on their own territory.
Defender's advantage.
Yeah, it's almost like Starcraft. It's real life. Galaxy tries to make something happen over here on this 5th base of Naniwa, but that's not going to happen either. Naniwa has a Dark Templar. It's so smart to have a Dark Templar on each and every single base. Fleet Beacon is ready as well, Ben, and talking. Wow, look at this.
Galaxy going to try to make something happen. He's just going to send the Broodlords over. I think Naniwa's best move is the counterattack, and that's exactly what Nani's going to do here.
A lot of spine crawlers, though. With all these infestors, it might actually be kind of hard to break this with Stalkers and Archons since they're such a clumpy unit composition. Naniwa is producing a mothership. I'm curious to see where he's producing it. Very smart. Very safe position at 9 o'clock of this map.
Yep, over there at his 3rd expansion. Naniwa shuts down one base. Is not going to go after the main mining base of Galaxy? I don't know.
Galaxy did climb up in army supply. He's right now at 112. It looks a little bit better than it was before. Naniwa, of course, still has an overwhelming amount of army supply advantage, and more importantly, Naniwa has a big bank. Fungo is going down on this one observer. Nice catch over here by Galaxy.
Means that those infestors can continue to be annoying as they can burrow and get away. These Broodlords actually taking out the entire main base of Naniwa, so Galaxy managing to achieve something that perhaps Naniwa should have thought about a while ago, and that's denying some of Nani's valuable tech.
Naniwa's losing a lot of gateways over here, but he still has a few gates. Of course, he's going to add more gates immediately, build the Cybercore. And as long as Naniwa has money in the bank, Ben, he can be glamorous. Why do you never roll with my song?
Because I don't know the words to the song, man.
Yes, you do. It's Virgin. You know it's Virgin.
Well, what is next?
The glamorous.
What does that have to do with money in the bank?
Yeah. I've got money in the bank. All my fans I like to thank you really do. You don't know the song?
I don't know the song.
No. Okay, well.
Is it like...
you know that song, The Glamorous.
This reminds me of the conversation we had about Nelly.
Yeah, you did not know who Nelly Furtado was. Or
Yeah, the
real
rapper.
Yeah, we didn't know the Portuguese singer. The girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very famous, man.
Well, yeah, I found out after you explained it to me.
Some things in life I should not have to explain to you. Well, we see Galaxy, he's trying to expand closer and closer to Naniwa's base. Man, this is a real weird game, man. I've not seen many games like this.
Yeah, you have to sort of start to ask the question of did Naniwa give Galaxy too much room and too much time? He still seems to have a pretty huge bank, 4,000 minerals, 3,000 gas.
I think Naniwa can just blink in right now and kill as much as possible. Infested terrors are getting spawned. Naniwa, where is that blink?
It's an okay blink, but it's really hard for him to get under these Broodlords. And Mothership is here, though, so that will definitely help. Galaxy's going to put it all on the line right here. Naniwa's supply is staying very, very high. 180 supply against the 140 of his Zerg opponent.
This is really not a good position for Naniwa to fight, but as you said, he has so much more money that perhaps he's able to afford it. But look at the position of all these Broodlords, man. But the energy on the Infestors is almost gone.
Oh, even some transfusions going down.
Vortex.
Galaxy's doing this as well as he can hope
Vortex
for.
is ready.
Oh, he's going to land the Vortex, but I don't think he can get the Archons into it, can he?
No, but the good thing is he might be able to kill all Infestors, and at least he's going to be able to surround these Broodlords. So I think it was a smart Vortex.
That might actually be the game ender. Naniwa coming up from both sides. Archons everywhere.
The Archons is like, oh, let me jump, let me jump. Wow, actually they do get a couple of big shots off. GG is called. Naniwa takes his first very exciting game then. Even though like it kind of stagnated a little bit at the end.
Basically stalled out there after Naniwa had won it, and then...
but it was still a really good game. Like, you almost forgot those force fields on the Baylings. I loved it.
Yeah, that was incredible. My favorite part was the three-pronged attack from Galaxy. Beautiful attack. Zerglings in the natural, Zerglings in the third base, Mutas in the main.
And
Nani defends every single location. Just incredible.
And you know, like small things like that. How often don't we see that one Ling run by decides the entire game, and then after that we always say when we try to analyze the game, well, I really think the Ling run by is kind of what tipped it all. Naniwa always having that sentry there. One time he didn't have the wall off, but immediately dropped the force field.
Yeah.
And then when the Mudas flew in to deal with the sentries, he immediately wiped in. Another sentry dropped the force field. Even though Lings were not there yet, he knew what would happen if he would lose the sentry.
Very high level decision making from Naniwa there all game long. Game brought to you guys by Audible. You can download your own bestseller today, and the only thing more fun than reading a good book, Kevin, is listening to somebody read it to you.
Like Zoka.
We are running.
I want Zoka to read a book for me.
Can you imagine bedtime stories with Sokka? That should be a segment here on the North American Story. Hello, today we read.
Today we talk about my PvZ. Oh, Zoka, tell me more.
Watch out for the muta.
Watch out for mutas.
Check out the Audible promotion at nasl.tv/p/audible, where you can get special deals on those audiobooks. Please go and download one today. We're going to take a quick break. Game number 2, Naniwa versus Galaxy. That's what's happening when we get back.
That's what up.